welcome everyone. I see we have about 30 viewers. Thank you so much. And I will give a short introduction and then pass it over to Erika Jefferson. So hopefully you've been able to prepare for this event. And if not, you can look in the right sidebar in the content, and we have some help guides. We also have a way to contact Brazen. And you can also look at all the available jobs by clicking on the link and download this presentation, which will also have other links in the content area. You can also put a comment in the discussion. You can ask us questions. Erika's session will be more interactive. Of course, you can always ask me questions, but we're aiming to end at 11:35 US Pacific time. All right, so just to tell you a little bit about Biotech Networks. So I'm the founder. I founded it in 2008, and I was really looking to democratize networking. So back in 2008, social media was just getting started. There were some trade organizations in San Diego, and I wanted to kind of make the Anti-Trade Association and make an organization that was more accessible to postdocs, grads, people early in their career, really anyone. So I started that in 2008, started in San Francisco and Los Angeles right before COVID hit. So we haven't been too active with events, as you can imagine. And we also expanded into Boston just a few months ago. So as I mentioned, if you go into the content sidebar, you can download this presentation. Of course, these URLs are pretty easy, but we're really happy that here, and everyone's welcome to this career fair. And we especially want to present to anyone who has any challenges in their job search, because I know I've been there many times. All right, so just I know you're watching this presentation now. We've got about 70 people, which is great. We just want to make sure that for you to participate in the job fair, the career fair, you want to make sure your profile is complete. So you want to put your LinkedIn link, upload your resume, and then also you want to be camera ready. And so you want to have the right clothes. You want to have a good background, because unfortunately in this application, we're not able to change the backgrounds. And you can also check your technical settings. There is the opportunity to do a video chat on top of a text chat. So you'd want to check your sound and video. Also be ready to take notes. So you'll probably be talking to a lot of people today. So you want to make sure you're able to follow up. And as I mentioned before, you can check out the available jobs at the link in the sidebar. And you should also take into account that almost all of these companies have more jobs on their websites. They weren't able to list all of them here. So feel free to go and check out those other jobs. And you will get the option to talk to the recruiters about these other jobs. So check out the booths and that the hiring companies are sponsoring, and get in line to chat with them. So if it's a busy booth, it may take a while for you to get in, but do that, and then maybe come back here and listen to our great presentations. All right, so this is the schedule for today, and we love this platform, Brazen, and we've got a great speaker lineup. However, Brazen limits every booth to 4 speakers. So what we had to do is we had to have 3 different booths because we had so many speakers. So on the next slide, I'll show you how you get to those booths. And again, all this information is also on the landing page. You can refer to it, and we'll be putting announcements out, so you'll be able to see that. And then just to show you where these booths are. So you're in this booth right now, and let's see how many people. We've got 85 people. That's great. So you're here now, and we'll have a great presentation by Erika Jefferson after me, and then also a presentation from Illumina VP Karen Gutkunst after that. And then at 12, we're going to have a really great panel moderated by Markel Morris, who is the founder of Futures in Motion. And so this is all about career advancement. If you feel like you're stuck, a lot of great insights will be had at this panel. And then in the afternoon, we will have another booth where we will talk about our partners. So we got a lot of great partners. Again, a lot of them that help anyone who has any type of a challenge with their job search. And so we'll be presenting videos from them. We'll also be hearing from Codex DNA Chief Technology Officer Dan Gibson in his TED Talk that he gave about synthetic DNA, and also Dr. Gertrude Nantara, who will talk about personal branding for PhD. So we've got a really great lineup. And then below that, you'll see all these booths, which, as I mentioned, go in, check out their opportunities, and get in line to talk to someone. And again, you can just talk to them about a general position or just to connect with them. I think they'll be very open to that. And then again, these are our 8 hiring companies. We're very happy to have them all on board. We have jobs in San Diego, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and also remote positions. So there's a link in the right sidebar that will show you that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Erika Jefferson. So I got to know Erika on LinkedIn. She's got a great personal brand. And she's the founder of Black Women in Science and Engineering, or BWISE. So it's an organization focused on bridging the leadership gap for Black women in STEM, something that I'm very passionate about. So she received an MBA from Georgia Tech and a bachelor's in chemical engineering from Louisiana State University. So with that, I'll pass it over to Erika. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for inviting me to this awesome event. I am just always so happy to engage with folks who are in the business of ensuring that these highly technical areas are diverse and inclusive. So that's what we're all about at BWISE. Again, my name is Erika Jefferson. I am the founder of Black Women in Science and Engineering, an organization founded to encourage and empower Black women, but really anyone who's in the STEM fields to reach the career aspirations or entrepreneurship aspirations that they may have in these hard sciences. So a little bit about me. I started BWISE about 6 or 7 years ago as an engineer and not certainly having any background in HR, D&I, or anything like that. And it has just grown beyond my wildest dreams. So I was so excited when Mary, who I was connected to on LinkedIn, asked me to be a part of this. So both to the job seekers and also the companies that are looking to attract, this is such a wonderful opportunity to connect with folks. This is a highly, highly technical skilled workforce, and it's sometimes not very easy to find this technical talent. So this is a great opportunity, and I hope you will stay engaged with Mary and Biotech Networks for her future events to network, to learn about these wonderful companies that you'll be meeting today. So take advantage of that. As a scientist, I know we're not always that great at networking, but this is a great opportunity for you to expand the folks that you know and also your career. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. So without further ado, I'm going to start my presentation, and please feel free to ask questions as we go along. Hopefully this will be an interactive session. All right, so I'm just going to start. Why is diversity important in biotech? And I'd just like to say that we're all living on this globe, and so it's important that everyone is represented, both on the clinical side and also on the patient side. So that's why it's important. And so hopefully we'll be able to share some of that with you as we go along. So why diversity is important in biotech? I think there are 3 main reasons. The talent. I hear a lot of our corporate partners talk about the lack of available talent. And I would just like to share some information of why the talent is there. You just have to know where to find it. Driving innovation. Biotech is a very innovative industry. So how do you continue to do that with the talent pool that you have? And realizing, especially in times of COVID, we live in a global society where people do not stay in one place. They travel around the world. So how do you keep driving that innovation, especially when it comes to healthcare? And then finally, clinical trials. Talk a little bit about the lack of diversity in clinical trials and why that's important to work on. So I just want to share some information to level set. I hear a lot of folks say that it's a pipeline problem. And those of us who are in science and engineering know that there's not a pipeline problem because we see and are familiar with lots of scientists that are diverse. So this is just the most recent information from the National Science Foundation on where women scientists and engineers are by occupation. So if you look at the bars across the left, and you can see lots of women in science and engineering related occupations, health related occupations, health diagnosing and treating practitioners, not so many in engineering and not so many in computer, math, and also the physical sciences. But there are some. So if you look at those numbers, we've got 50% or more in technology in the life sciences. So, when I hear organizations lament that they can't find the talent, I always push back and say, well, do you even know where to find the talent? The greatest source for early career folks is obviously at the university site, at the university level. But beyond that, where do you go? And so hopefully BWISE, and we'll get to that a little bit later, can be a resource for folks who are looking for diverse talent. So this is a picture, as folks who are looking for talent, that we took 2 years ago in Washington, D.C. If you're familiar with the American Association for the Advancement of Science, also known as AAAS fellows, this is 35 women, the majority of which, except for me, who have PhDs in science and engineering. And it's just amazing to see that much talent in one room. So, for our partners and wonderful supporters, as well as our, community folks in biotech, the talent is there. The diverse talent is there. And for the incredible work that needs to be done now and in the future, I think it's important to make sure that we're looking everywhere for talent. So what is our next topic? And that's keys to innovation. So I just want to show a little bit of information on why diversity is important as it relates to innovation. So as you see by the graphic, companies with below average diversity scores, meaning fewer than a certain percent of women and underrepresented minorities, only average 26% innovation by revenue compared to 45% of companies that did have above average diversity scores. And by diversity scores, I know they're looking at both obvious diversity and also neurodiversity and other types of diversity. So just something to think about for our partners of why it's important that you reach out and partner with organizations like Biotech to find diverse talent and why it's important to your organization as regards to innovation. Any questions? If you have any questions, please put them in the sidebar. We'll get to them when I get out of the presentation. And then underrepresentation in clinical trials. So if you haven't, heard of some of the work that's been done in regards to drug development, one of the greatest challenges is the lack of diversity in the participants in clinical trials. And we know that one size does not fit all. So in regards to companies developing, drugs and treatment protocols, most of the people that they do the testing on and develop the solutions for are Caucasian. So if you look at the two circles, the population is 16 plus 12 was at 28% diverse, yet the participants are only 6%. So that's certainly something that I hope that some of our biotech leaders consider. How do we increase this participation in clinical trials? And that's something that we are very interested and active in participating with. So hopefully, some of the attendees and job seekers that are interested in clinical research can get an opportunity to assist some of the wonderful companies in doing that. And then contact information. So we wanted to keep this short and sweet so that we had enough time for questions, if there are some, how to get in contact with us. We try to be a resource for a myriad of organizations that are in this area of helping to increase the amount of diversity in all parts of STEM. And so happy to connect with folks on LinkedIn. We have a lively group on LinkedIn for our scientists, engineers, technologists, and our corporate partners. We have a company page that we share quite a bit of content on. And of course, you can always connect with me, and also, connect with me via email if you're interested in doing so. So for both our job seekers and our corporate partners, I wanted to take a quick little detour to our website if anyone is interested in looking at our jobs. And so we'll make sure we have that information available to you. So for our job seekers, you can upload your resume and then create alerts for any jobs that may be of interest to you. And we've got currently from software development, clinical research, just all kinds of jobs all across the country in all different areas of STEM, with a variety of amazing corporate partners. So hopefully for those that are still looking, in addition to the wonderful companies that are going to be attending today, hopefully you'll also consider looking at some of our jobs as well. And then to our employer partners, if you're interested in also reaching a diverse network, we'd love to talk to you about posting jobs on our site. We have a fairly large and active network on LinkedIn of 12,000 plus in our community network. So great opportunity to find kind of that hard to find niche Black women or women of color in these STEM fields. So hopefully there's an opportunity for us to connect with you, job seekers, and also employers when you're looking for diverse talent. So I'll switch back over and hopefully take some questions if there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Erika. I didn't see any. I'm wondering if you could just tell us, what have you seen with respect to people are talking about the Great Resignation and that people are leaving their jobs because they're not happy due to work-life balance issues or just general disillusionment. So what are you seeing in the job market now?
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of people held in place until they thought, gonna wait to see how things, go for 2021. And now that, companies are hiring again, I think people have said, now is the time to make a change. I wanted to make a change before the pandemic, but that just wasn't the right time for their lives or their families. And now I think people are trying to truly determine what their next phase of their careers, whether they're just early careers or mid careers, what is it that they want to do for the rest of their careers? And I think that's kind of the impetus for a lot of the Great Resignation. It's a great opportunity, I think, for small to mid-sized companies to get some great talent. Sometimes I think the large companies, certainly the large tech companies, and they're just as diverse now. Apple hires biotech people. I think the brand recognition is strong, but there's opportunity to get in and make a real impact. I can't even remember how many employees Apple has, but I'm sure it's well over the 50,000 mark. But with that many people, how can you make an impact? Whereas some of the wonderful partners that you have on, and I think one of the partners I actually posted on our job board, CGen, is a wonderful company too. You can make an impact at these companies. You can get involved in some incredible key research. And I think that's what I'm seeing. That's what people are looking for. I think people have kind of gotten wary of the large conglomerate system, and they're looking to find a place for them where they can stay and make a real difference.
Yeah, thank you, Erika. And I would add that try to think of questions during your interview that are really important for you. And, you want to, be careful, me thinking about going into an interview, you don't want to be, too, you want to give off the right vibe, so to say. But just think about, ask them about if they have employee resource groups, which is a great way for different types of employees to get together and to advocate for different, there are moms, there are diversity groups, there are pride groups. Ask them about that, and look at their social media, and that's just one part of the piece. Look at their annual report, which gets down to are they putting any money into making the your life at the company better. So we have a question. Do you have any suggestions for biology majors looking for employment after college?
Absolutely. I think prior to COVID, people were like, I need to have someone who fits this particular set of requirements. And now I think folks with a background in biology or chemistry, obviously you've got training in technical subjects and hopefully the ability to do some critical thinking. What could be better than that? I think. And so for our recent graduates for June, upcoming graduates in December, I think don't limit your job search to the traditional companies that hire folks in your area. Look everywhere. And, a lot of times we get these technical degrees and then we say, you know what? I don't want to do the traditional work that a biologist would do in a laboratory. I want to do something different. There are incredible opportunities for folks, like I said, with that technical background, with that ability to do critical thinking and problem solve that can work in anything. You could do sales, you could do, governance, you could do science writing, just so many opportunities. And that's why what Mary is doing is so important, that you get exposed to this. It's very easy to stay in our little introverted bubble as scientists, right? And just do what everyone else, like lemmings into the sea, everyone else is going to go and apply for these 3 companies that hire scientists. But I say, especially if you're young, this is so important when you're young, take risks before you've got responsibilities and you can't take risk. So do that crazy, wild job, as long as it's paying your bills. That's key. That can circle back. And then, if you decide you want to get an advanced degree or you want to get back into your field and do pure, science, you've got that extra ability that other folks don't have. So
yeah, and I would also say just be confident. What do you have to lose to be confident? And I have a niece that's a biology major, and it's a bit of a struggle because it's so general. But if you can just go into the job and say, they should be hiring you based on what you can do rather than all of your experience, especially if you're entry level. So, if you got problem solving, just turn it around. So I know you're looking for questions, Erika, but I have one that says, Tamara asked, do you have any recommendations for someone who may be transitioning from another field into science?
Absolutely. I think when I was in school, you had to have that 4-year degree, right? You had to have that stamp of approval that you've passed these classes. There was no internet. I hate to say how old I am, but there was no internet at that time. And so if you didn't have, a college degree or associate's degree in biology or in the science, it's very difficult for you to get in. So I think there's lots of opportunity to do online training and development. Obviously, you can't do online laboratory work, but there are all kind of ways to come into science tangentially, right? So maybe you worked in customer service and now you want to get into science, right? So come into an organization that, hires customer service, but is a chemical or biological manufacturer. Get your foot in the door, use your existing talents, and then transition with the training that you do on your own to supplement what you already know. So I cannot imagine that folks are turning away folks who are interested in working for their organization when the need for scientists and people who have, like I said, the ability to do critical thinking is so desperately necessary. This is an incredible time for scientists like no other, probably, where we're needed. They need us, right? I know, don't listen to the media and the news that people are not listening to scientists. We're still needed. We're still necessary.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we have a question from Tiana. When looking for a company to work with, what are some signs that a company prioritizes diversity and inclusion?
Oh, gosh. On my side, I see the folks who are reaching out to us and are saying, yes, I not only want to find talent, and that's the key. That's what I always tell people. This is not about the niceties of hiring people of all shades and types and differences. This is about revenues. Do you have the warm bodies to do the work that your shareholders expect you to do in order to make the money back for your organization? And if you are not looking everywhere to find that talent, you are not being a fiduciary. You are not holding your fiduciary responsibilities to your shareholders. So that means you look everywhere. You don't just go to Stanford. You go to Polytech, Cal Polytech, or Cal State, or San Francisco University. You go everywhere. You're just not limiting, your search for talent just in one talent pool. I know what they do. The assumption is they went to Stanford. They must be really smart or really brilliant. And that may be true, but that doesn't exclude the folks at these other wonderful institutions as being valued contributors to your company as well. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I would add follow the money, just like Erika said. If a company is advertising their job on BWISE, they're putting the resources into it. And also, ask, hopefully when they interview you, it will be a diverse group of people that are interviewing you. Ask, the people that you think would have the best opinion of that. And also, you can go to Glassdoor, and I believe Glassdoor has a section on diversity. So that's very candid comments because they're anonymous about whether or not the company.
I'm going to add to that, because I think what I said was on my side. And of course, you guys are not on my side, but on the candidate side, go to their website. And this is something we're trying to work with our corporate partners now. Go to their website. That is the truest representation of who works there, right? If you go to their website and all the pictures are of non-diverse folks, it's probably likely that company is non-diverse. Now, like I said, we're working with organizations to be more reflective of both who works there and also what they aspire to look like as well. But do a Google search. I always encourage folks, they're looking you up, they're looking at your profile, they're doing all kind of investigation of you. You do the same to them, right? We, in a perfect world, all companies would be wonderful and we would all eat gumdrops and bonbons all day and everyone would hold hands and sing Kumbaya at our desk. That is not reality. But there are some wonderful companies out there, and I just encourage folks to attend events like this with Mary. Has put so much heart into all this, developing this. This is a massive undertaking. Trust me. I know the work that goes into things like this. And so connect with Mary, sign up, register, come to all the events. Your network building does not end when you get your next job, right? When you get your job, you're happy, you make the announcement on LinkedIn. This is so great. That does not end your network building. You are to continue networking and meeting and connecting with folks. That's how people who are able to transition from job to job, and they're not laid off for very long if they do get laid off, because they have a network of folks that are always looking out for them, that they can reach out to. So build that network. If I had to tell scientists one thing, continue to build your network. I know it seems icky. You don't want to talk to people, but we have to do that. Take your head out of the microscope, put the petri dishes down, and build your network as well.
Yeah, I like to tell people to find their inner extrovert and,
Right.
Treat your network like you're collecting. I know that sounds a little bit harsh because these are human beings, but, I have 4,000 followers on LinkedIn and I'm pretty proud of that. And I just slowly grew it. So we do have 5 minutes left. So maybe one more question. Someone asked about transitioning from academia into industry, and Erika, also, Gertrude Nontero will be talking about that at 2. So comments?
Listen, that is almost impossible without a network, because just keep in mind, for my wonderful folks in academia, don't take this personally, but it's true. They have a vested interest in you staying in academia. They have no benefit and teaching you how to get into industry, because that's, you know, some very cheap labor that they're going to lose if you leave. So that's why it's so important to go to conferences, even virtual now, right? You know, maybe that's even better because you don't have to worry about travel, but build that network way before you need it in academia, right? Write a paper. BWISE has an upcoming event that we're doing with Cell Press. So for those of you familiar with Cell Press, we're going to be doing how do you publish in scientific journals end of this month, I think. I can't even keep up. But stay tuned for that and connect with me if you're interested in that. So do that. Get out there. Put yourself out there. That's the best advice I can say, is build your network and put yourself out there. There is an organization, connect with me on LinkedIn. I think it's called Cheeky Scientists, that really focused on how to help folks transition from academia into industry. And just find organizations like that that support that, because like I said, your institution is not going to. So you've got to do that yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Erika Jefferson. And it's bwiseusa.org.
It is bwiseusa.org. And we'll make sure that you get our links for both the job board and bwiseusa.org to connect with us. Certainly connect with me, Erika Jefferson, on LinkedIn. Would love to share more of our tips and tricks and all kind of things that we know about how to get a job in science and not just stay, but thrive. And thank you, Mary. This has been awesome. I could be on here all day talking, but thank you for this opportunity.
And for the viewers, we're just going to take a 10-minute break. So we're going to stop the broadcast and we'll be back at 11:45 Pacific time. So thanks again, Erika. Thanks all.
Bye, everyone.
10 minutes. Thank you.